Hello and welcome to another interesting edition of Rising Borno, where we bring to you happenings and developmental strides of Governor Babagana Zulum's administration. My name is Dorcas Yakubuzala. Let's begin. The Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Zulum, has reiterated that his administration will continue to promote transparency, inclusiveness, and accountability. He promised to improve wages, invest in job creation, expand social protection, and build a more resilient economy. He stated this through his deputy during the commemoration of Workers' Day in Maiduguri.
These are not just statistics. These are the daily experience of our workers, traders, artisans, teachers, and civil servants. And as your governor, I want you to know, we see, we hear you, and we are committed to standing with you. Reclaiming the civic space is not about confrontation. It is about collaboration. It is about creating a society where every voice counts, where workers can speak out without fear, organize freely and contribute meaningfully to governance and policy making. Civic space is the bedrock of democracy, and we must guide it fiercely, even in the face of hardship. Let me assure you that under this administration, we will continue to promote transparency, inclusiveness, and accountability. We are working tirelessly to improve wages, invest in job creation, expand social protection, and build a more resilient economy that serves everyone, not just a few. We have also made commitments to timely salary payments, improve working conditions, and increase support for small businesses and local enterprises. These are not mere promises. They are part of a broader vision to empower our people and restore dignity to labor. To our labor leaders and unions, we commend your role in advocacy and negotiation. Let us continue to engage in constructive dialogue, knowing that we are partners in progress, united by our desire for a better Borno State. To every worker here, thank you for your commitment, your sweat, and your unwavering dedication. Even in difficult times, you are the engine of this state, and today we celebrate you. Together, let us build a future where freedom thrives and economic justice prevails, and where the dignity of workers is upheld. Happy Workers' Day, all workers in the Borno State. Let me also use this opportunity to commend the resilience of the people of this state about what happened yesterday night. I want to commend the media team and also well-wishers of the state who has participated in disseminating information to the general public about the explosion that happened at the Kiwa barracks yesterday. We will continue to work closely with our security apparatus in the state, and we assure the general public that this administration will continue to do whatever it takes to ensure we regain the peace that we deserve in the state. So I once again congratulate each and every worker in the state. Assalamu alaikum.
I feel very much delighted to welcome you, Your Excellency, and Your Eldorate. It is a rare honor and privilege to stand before you today for the celebration of May Day. I am also delighted on behalf of the State Administrative Council and the State Executive Council of the Organized Labor in the state. Welcome particularly His Excellency, the Executive Governor, who is ably represented by our own brother, the Deputy Governor. Whose presence here today is a symbolic great inspiration to Borno workers. May Day has added significance to the team reclaiming the civil space in the midst of economic hardship. Workers took into account the political, social, and economic history of our country and Borno State in particular, vis-a-vis our struggle for good governance, no matter the socio-economic challenges. Your Excellency, sir, May Day has been officially made to foster solidarity in the labor movement and engage government and employer on values we hold dearly, especially issues of good governance and protection of humans, social and workers' rights. While we have used the platform of May Day since Nigerian workers began to observe it as a holiday, first in Kano State in 1980 and nationally in 1981. To matriculate workers' predominant concern, inspiration, and to demand for change for better working conditions as well as standard living of all Nigerians. We commend Borno State government and particularly His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Borno State, for prioritizing workers' welfare in his last 4 years. And not only that, but also his effort to developmental infrastructure achieved within this phase of his administration. On behalf of the organized labor, we wish to commend you and most immensely. May Day 2025, the theme for this year's May Day celebration is reclaiming the civic space in the midst of economic hardship. It reflects the hardship and challenges workers and indeed all Nigeria are passing through due to inflation and then devaluation of the Naira's currency. We wish on this day to reaffirm and assure you all that we stand by our words to serve workers and people of Borno State. Appreciation. Your Excellency, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, let me on behalf of the leadership, the State Executive Council, and the State Administrative Council, and indeed all workers of Borno State, extend our profound appreciation to His Excellency for the success recorded. It is on this note we want to use this day to mention few of the achievements. One, implementation of new minimum wage of 70,000 naira to the state workers and early. Two, release of 6 billion naira for the payment of gratuity to retired workers from 2019 to 2021. Release of 2 billion naira for the payment of retired workers of local government authorities. Another release of 3 billion naira for the payment of our late families workers. Payment of salaries as and when due. Developmental projects across the length and breadth of the states. However, we wish to draw His Excellency's attention to some of the following demands, despite the fact labor and government are currently discussing. The new minimum wage for local government staff. Your Excellency, sir, while appreciating your government for the timely implementation of the new minimum wage in the state, we are appealing that such gesture be extended to the local government staff for them to have a sense of belonging, like their counterparts in the states. Your Excellency, sir, it is on record. It is on record for everybody to see that your administration is trying its best to make life better for workers in the local government, but sir, non-implementation of the new minimum wage to the local government will definitely temper their productivity in service delivery. Implementation of outstanding promotion. Your Excellency, sir, there are some workers whose promotion benefits are yet to be implemented, despite the follow-up by the organized labor to the office of the head of service and then the head of biometrics. We therefore call and appeal for the promotion implementation with financial benefits, appropriations, pro rata. Patient competition. Your Excellency, the organized labor is aware of the fact that state under your leadership has been given top priority to the welfare of workers. However, we are quite aware of the steps taken to ameliorate the suffering of the retired workers. It is our prayer that a strong committee needs to be constituted with a view to come up with a reasonable percentage and solution. Leave transport grant of 2024. Excellency, we appeal for the payment of the leave transport grant to the serving workers of the state. Outstanding review of patients, upward review of patients. Excellency, we wish to table before you that it is at this moment, up to this moment, there are some pensioners who are still receiving mega amounts as their monthly pension, which is grossly inadequate to cater for the family needs. We therefore pray for His Excellency's intervention for the upward review of the monthly pension to this regard. Finally, Your Excellency, sir, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I want to appreciate you all for taking your time to grace this very important occasion and for your support, encouragement, critical analysis of public labor contribution to our dear state. I wish you journey mercies and Allah's protection to your respective destination. Thank you and God bless. Solidarity, solidarity, long live, Victoria, Victoria. Thank you very much.
As I stand before this august gathering of the occasion of the May Day, also known as the Workers' Day, to pay tribute to a group of people who often go unnoticed, but who play a critical role in the functioning and growth of our systems and society at large. I am made to understand that Labor Day is a day to celebrate and acknowledge the contributions of the working class and to remember the sacrifices made by those who fought for better working conditions and fair wages. I'm delighted to note that Borno State workers are amongst the most disciplined and dedicated civil servants in this country, going by the excellent government-labor relation, which is also being reciprocated by government in many ways. Borno State Civil Service will continue to pay premium on the welfare of civil servants, such as training and retraining, provision of appropriate and requisite tools, prompt promotions, and prompt payment of salaries. The Office of the Head of Service has mastered plans to reform the civil service to make it more efficient and competitive. Workers will be given the level playing field to exhibit their talents and capabilities by providing working conditions and environment conducive. Henceforth, merit will be the guiding principle and watchword of the present civil service, such that no one will lobby for anything. There is also going to be emphasis on sanctions and reward system, what is being referred to as the carrot and stick, for any worker that violates the rules and those who distinguish themselves in the service. The system will be very fair to all. Workers will be given the opportunity to excel in their chosen careers to ensure steady growth of the service. I want to assure workers in Borno State that we will strive to build a disciplined, strong, viral, and efficient civil service that will be responsive to the needs of the state.
We pray the government to implement 30% to pensioners. Already we receive our new minimum wage. But now we pray God give him wisdom to implement the 30% wage to our pensioners.
I can see that when they are paying, increment of salaries, but I know things are hard in the market, but increment of salaries and even paying the pensioners, our fathers, I can see some improvement there. Because it has been a long time they didn't pay them for that, but now they are trying to pay them.
Governor Babagana Zulum has announced plans to close down the Muna internally displaced persons IDP camp in Maiduguri within the next few weeks. The governor announced this during an early morning visit to the camp on Monday. Zulum said the decision to shut down the camp was in line with his administration's ongoing efforts to close all formal IDP camps within Maiduguri and its environs. The Muna camp, established at the height of the humanitarian crisis in the state, currently hosts about 10,000 displaced persons. The governor, however, noted that about 75% of its residents had already been resettled. He assured the remaining inhabitants that the government will provide support to improve their means of livelihood as they prepare to return to their communities.
About 4 years ago, we made an announcement that all IDP camps, formal IDP camps within Metropolitan Council will be closed. So far, so good, we have closed all, about 12 of them. Remaining 2 informal camps. This camp initially was an informal camp, but you have seen the population. We will never eradicate insurgency without resettlement people, because people will go back to their homes so that they will earn their means of livelihood by themselves. There is increasing prostitution here. There is increasing child abuse here, gangsterism among others. So the only way that we can ensure that we address the challenges of insecurity by ensuring that the socio-political dimension of the crisis is being addressed.
Governor Zulum disclosed that government has put measures in place to cater the needs of the returnees.
It's not easy, but let me acknowledge the support that we are receiving from the federal government. The federal government is helping us very well. I want to commend the federal government, and I want to commend the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the support that we have been receiving so far from him that has complemented the efforts of the state government. We remain eternally grateful to the federal government.
On concerns about safety of the returnees, the governor assured that the areas are liberated with military presence on ground. This move is part of a broader strategy to phase out all IDP camps in Maiduguri and support displaced persons rebuild their lives in a safer and secured communities.
The governor again on Tuesday at the Government House Chambers inaugurated a reconstituted committee on revocation of illegal hotels, brothels, shanties, criminal hideouts, and curbing the menace of antisocial vices. Zulum imposed a ban on the sale of alcoholic beverages in the state. He accused the military and other security agencies of promoting criminality and antisocial activities in the capital city of Maiduguri and some communities. He charged the communities to purge the state of all forms of criminality, thuggery, prostitution, drug abuse, among others in the state. The governor urged the military, police, civil defense, and several other security agencies, including the civilian JTF, to support the committee in achieving their assignment.
The increasing cases of criminalities in the state, such as thuggery, theft, armed robbery, cultism, amongst others, is a matter of great concern to the teeming population growth of not only Metropolitan Council and its environs, but Borno State in general. The nexus between these activities and terrorism need not to be overemphasized. Some of the reasons why we had insurgencies for those State, amongst others, is a result of many issues that had happened before, amongst which is thuggery in the state. We shall never get rid of insurgency without dealing with these matters. Maiduguri was one of the most peaceful states in Nigeria, but we allowed the state capital to be eroded by criminals. The situation is very obnoxious And we believe we shall do everything possible to curtail this tension to the barest minimum. This committee is in existence before. So we are now reconstituting the committee for greater efficiency and productivity. The committee has done very, very well before. But over a period of time, we became relaxed. And everything started again. I'm happy to note that army officers are here, especially the military police and others are here. Because most of these activities were committed by who? Some of them are dismissed army officers, dismissed security officials, current army officers, men and officers, including civilians. So there should be no sacred cow in this matter. If we want Maiduguri Metropolitan Council, and indeed this day, to get rid of insurgency, terrorism, and all other sort of criminalities. I want this committee to become very strong. Government will give the desired attention to this committee so that we shall deal with these matters effectively. Ban of sale of liquor in Maiduguri is still in force. There is act to this effect by the State House of Assembly. Unless otherwise, it's being done in a specified location that is enshrined in the Act. Prostitution, gangsterism are increasing on a daily basis. It's sad to note that a few days ago, some were even killed behind the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital. In fact, now the order of the day. In Garanam areas, along the Gyoa barracks, many of these places are littered by good lads. In addition to this, the political devil is also something that has to be curtailed. There's a lot of public disturbances ongoing. Some cannot even attend funeral prayers. You cannot even go about your normal business activities because of targeting. I think it's enough for us now so that we shall take a decisive action. I believe members of this committee are persons of impeccable characters. People that can say no to anybody. Otherwise we cannot succeed. The law is there on ground. The Borno State Geographic Information System has the records of all hotels in the state. Those that have the legal entity to operate in the state. So we need to move into action in order to curtail these cases. I want to particularly call on the Nigerian military that we should be very careful. Because these activities lead to insurgency. On this note, let me congratulate you on the exam appointment, and a lot is being expected from you. The co-chair are here. I believe you can work assiduously to control the menace. We may decide to formed subcommittees. You may decide to co-opt any member whom you felt can add value to what you are doing. The terms of this committee, amongst others, include to identify and document all illegal hotels, brothels, shanties, and suspected criminal hideouts within the designated areas of assignment, Maiduguri and environs. To create a comprehensive and actionable plan for the systematic identification, coordinate the execution of revocations of demolition plan, ensuring compliance with all the relevant laws and regulations. To develop and implement strategies to curb the menace of associated antisocial violence, including but not limited to drug abuse, prostitution, and other criminal activities. To foster collaboration and communication with relevant stakeholders, including law enforcement agencies, community leaders, residents, and traditional leaders. To develop and implement strategies for the rehabilitation and reintegration of individuals affected by the demolition and associated activities where necessary. To establish mechanisms to prevent the re-emergence of illegal structures and antisocial vices. To make recommendations to government on the assessment and findings of the committee, any other matter deemed germane for the success of the committee's assignment. I also want you to note that you should easily start with those areas that were hitherto demolished by this particular committee based on proven records of the defaulters. And they are back. Revisit the cases, and I don't think we need more to deal with such matters. We have a lot of low-hanging fruits, activities that are ongoing, that you can easily catch them up. The government of Borno State is behind you. The Ministry of Justice is with you. The co-chair, the chairman of the chairperson, co-chair of the committee. The DSS is around. Police is around. Civil defense is around. And I think the prosecution should not be difficult.
And that wraps it for Rising Borno. See you again next week for another interesting edition of the program. I am Dorcas Yakubuzala. Goodbye.